If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Go, bro. Thanks. Good morning, Baltimore. Good morning, WNST listeners. Hopefully you're paying attention to me on WNSTV at WNST.net or listening to me later on in the Toyota Audio Vault. First off, I want to say that stripper smell smells terrible, and if I pass out halfway through, that's what happened. First of all, I'm going to talk about the Ravens for just a minute. I'm not going to get into too much detail about them. I just want to give you my overview of what I feel that this season and how they're going to do. It's going to be an unpopular opinion as usual. I got them slated at 9-7. I've looked over the schedule time and time again and really trying to squeeze another win out of them, but I just can't get past 9-7. I love the offense, the skill position players. Joe Flacco's the truth. I think we all know this kid coming into his third year. He's going to do nothing but improve and get better. You can see the mindset. You can see it in his eyes. He's everything you want in your franchise quarterback. At the running back positions, of course, Ray Rice, stud. Wilson Gay, he's your backup. Ridiculous. Anquan Bolden, Derek Mason, Dante Stallworth, a great receiving core. Even with Mark Clayton there, they still have a phenomenal core. The tight ends, solid as they come. But when you get to that offensive line, and the concerns that you've had over the last year or so, with the youth and moving guys around and guys retiring, those questions as this season is starting to move on, they're really becoming a problem. I think we all know how the NFL works, in that the lines that stay together, that work together, are the ones that succeed. They develop that chemistry, and I just don't see that happening with the way the injuries are going down on the Ravens right now, and that's going to be a major problem. They already gave up 36 sacks to Flacco last year. He was a little beat up, and you put him through the ringer again this season, and they're just not going to make the playoffs like that, especially in the AFC North. You go to the defensive side of the ball. Of course, the front seven is as stout as they come. It doesn't really get much better than that. But you look at that secondary, and this was a concern last year, and as we got into the preseason or in the offseason, you were hoping some moves were going to be made and some spots were going to be filled, and they just really haven't been. You get to the draft, and this is where you say, okay, most of the free agents have been scooped up by other teams. The free agent DBs, I should say, have been scooped up by other teams. All right, we're going to make a splash in the draft. And then, obviously they were shooting for Dez Bryant. They don't get Dez Bryant. And then for Ozzie to trade away that first-round pick and to just, go after a linebacker that they're not going to use in Sergio Kindle, a guy who's not going to play, whether that's his fault or not. That guy was kind of unneeded. You needed Kyle Wilson. So not only do you get rid of Kyle Wilson, but you don't get a DB that you needed, but you let him go to a rival team that now is looking like, boy, with Revis, in his holdout situation, if he winds up sitting the whole year, in what could have been detrimental to the Jets defense, now the Ravens kind of gave them a gift and saying, here you go, here's a first-round guy, a guy who's considered by most to be the second-best corner coming into the draft, coming into the league. So, I think that really, is something that goes threefold against Ozzie Newsome. And if the Ravens don't make the playoffs, it's something that you can look back on and pinpoint and say, I think Ozzie Newsome really made a big mistake when that draft came around. You're in a position now where you're hoping that Ed Reed comes back healthy, and people are just clamoring for Ladarius Webb to come back. And, I don't mean to talk down on this guy, but he's a great player. But you're talking about a kid in his second year who wasn't a starter the whole time last year, and he's coming off a major knee injury. I just don't know that you can rely on that to be the help in the secondary that you're going to need. So that's really all I want to say about the Ravens. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they do make the playoffs. I hope they go 13-3 the way everybody wants them to, and it's a Super Bowl year and everybody's happy come Festivus, and it is what it is. But I'm going to move on to the Orioles. That's my passion. I have a good bit to say about them. First off, of course we know the Ravens, hit a hot streak, with the hiring of Buck. But I think, something that happened kind of quietly was the return of Brian Roberts to this team. It happened about a week before the Buck signing. Of course, everybody saw who's going to be the new manager. Is it going to be Buck? Is he going to sign? Brian Roberts come back. Hey, now you've got your leadoff guy back, and it's not like he's setting the world on fire. But here's a guy who's been injured since before spring training. You know, he never should have started the season, never should have been in the position that he was, but he came and he started the year and hurts himself further. You know, now he just keeps getting hurt, doesn't really get better throughout the year, and he basically has to beg management to come back, you know, to finish the year. Everybody wanted him to just sit and come back next year. The season's a wash, and don't worry about it. But, you know, he wants to come back, and I think that shows this team, hey, we've got something to play for here. We might be the worst team in the league on paper, but, you know, this season's not over. You know, let's move towards next year, and I think he's really proven to be that dugout leader that we've needed for a long time. You know, Markakis, you know, kind of wanted to be the guy, but he's a little too soft-spoken, I think, to be that guy. You know, with Brian Roberts there, I think that's going to be a huge contribution to this team going forward. Felix PA, you know, with him coming back, hey, when he went on the 60-day DL earlier in the year, I thought, oh my God, he's going to forget how to play baseball again over the course of the next 2 months, because it took him so long to figure out how to play this game. You know, you remember this kid coming up with the Cubs. He's supposed to be the next Alfonso Soriano, you know, and he really just looks like an athlete out there with a glove on. You know, really doesn't know the rules of baseball, doesn't know what he's doing, but you saw, you know, as the second half of last year and throughout the first part of this year, he's really been developing and learning the game. Hey, you know, he's going to have his base running blunders. You know, they're bound to happen when you don't know the rules of baseball. You know, that's going to happen. So, but with this kid only being 25 years old, you know, hopefully we can move forward with him, and the team gets better, and they're going to improve. As far as one other point I'd like to make, as far as Buck goes in the offseason, let's get new coaches in there. All the coaches have been proved to be terrible. You know, I think we need to get new guys in there. Let's start fresh. Let's get this losing cloud out from over top of us and move forward and be a better team in 2011. This has been Terry Cook for WNST. You can check me out on WNST.net. Check my blog out under Barstool Sports. Be More TLC Cares. And obviously check the Toyota Audio Vault for this, and see the video at WNST TV.
Well done, Terry Cook. Ladies and gentlemen, here on the Baltimore Sports Media Idol competition and audition.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.